guys, Jill here, and this is part one of a series that I'm doing for my design team project at Your Paper Pantry. And what we're going to be making is a mini, and the mini is going to be in the ornamental shape, which is a Tim Holtz die, and we're using Pink Paisley Butterfly Garden Collection. We're going to be using a lot of the papers. This is the 6x6 pack I'm working with. And I went over these before, but here's the clear pops, the charms, the babbles, wood shapes, they call them press-ons, and this is called Expressions, which is the cardstock alpha. And see, it's a nice thick cardstock there. And then also I poured out all of the ephemera in the last video to show you. So those are the main items we're going to be working with. And if you're not a member of Your Paper Pantry, it's really simple to join. And Roxy, who is the person that started Your Paper Pantry, she is Roxy Fur here on YouTube, and she is who is selling this kit. And so I'm going to add in some of my own things to this kit, but what we're going to do is a step-by-step so I can give you some of the pointers of how I do mini books. So I've done a few things in advance. First of all, you can do this with any chipboard, you know, 12 by 12, if that's what you have, go with that. But I had ordered some 4x6 off of Joann.com because it fits really nicely over the dies. And I don't want to show you the die because it's got quite a glare, because this is one of the movers and shapers dies with that silver backing to it. I'll show it to you, but I want to minimize that. Okay, so with the chipboard, if you're going to be doing 12 by 12, you're going to need one sheet of 12 by 12 and space everything out beforehand. Maybe cut yourself a template. This is what I do. And I keep both sides of it, and this is just actually some cereal. And then that helps me with placement. And you can like trace the points onto your cardstock or onto your chipboard, so it tells you where you want it to be. But we're just working with this size, so we know it's going to be where we want it to be. Another thing that I did ahead of time is I spritzed all of my papers with Sunflower Sparkle, which is a perfect pearl mist, and that's through Ranger. And I know you guys who watch me know I just adore these perfect pearl mists. They're one of my favorites to work with. I've actually gone through several of that color as well as just the perfect pearl color, and I've started mixing up what I have in my mini misters. This is tea dye, and I've started mixing them in these larger bottles as I can. So I sprayed all of the pages. I selected 10 pages because this book is going to be 5 pages. And it doesn't sound like much, but these books get really thick, so I like to minimize the damage there. Okay, so here's that paper all spritzed. I just love that effect. And this is going to be my cover. So after I've spritzed all the papers, and they're all curled, but that'll go away with the glue that we're applying. So once I have spritzed all the papers, I like to pick where they're going to be. So this is the cover, and this is going to be the back. So the cover I'll just put there, the back there, and then all I do is I go through the pages and I make spreads with them. And so like this one I pick different spots, but it's still the same paper. So here's another one, and then I'll flip that over. And I try not to put two similar papers back to back. Like this will make a good backer for that one. And then I think because this one's got all the browns in it, that will make a nice backer. And then lastly, we'll do the doily one. And I'm going to do those opposite each other, and I might be a little bit out of screen, sorry about that. Okay, so that's how I keep track of my pages. You could also write on them, whatever works best for you. I'm using my Vagabond. You can also use your Cuttlebug, Big Kick, any machine that you have that accepts the Tim Holtz dies, which is most of them. And I like to cover my paper first. So, real simple. I've been talking about this. I love this. I had been using the Scotch Quick Dry Glue, but I actually think it dries too quick in this application. And look at my hands, all gold. So, you're going to want to find what works best for you. What works best for me with my mini books lately is the Scotch Mega Glue Stick, because it doesn't have to be acid free for me, because any pictures I put in here are going to be copies of pictures, and these are meant to be handled. So all I'm going to do is just cover the entire back of this piece of paper very generously with this glue stick. I used to really dislike glue sticks. They dry quick, and I also don't like the way that they hold. Lately I've been noticing that glue sticks are way better. I gave this one a try on a whim, and I love it. Then I'm going to take my bone folder after I've attached it to the piece of chipboard. Remember, it doesn't matter, like I cut with an older blade, it doesn't matter that I have ragged edges, because that part isn't even going to show. So now that's attached down, and we're going to keep doing that with all of the pages. And normally I work on top of something other than an extra mat, but I'm trying not to show you my ugly sheets of paper that I glue on top of here. So you're only going to watch me with these two anyway, so you can get a feel for how I do this, and then we're going to cut it out. Okay, so now let's put that aside. Now you want to be aware of what was the top and bottom, if you have a top or bottom, when you stick down your second sheet. And this book itself is going to open up here, and that's another thing you want to keep in mind. Okay, so now it's burnished down nicely. I have found that this gives a really nice adhesion. So the next step is we're going to cut these out. I'm going to tell you about how to cut them, and then segment 2 I'll take you into further details of other parts, but obviously you're going to continue in this manner with all 5 back and fronts of your pages. So now we have the back cover here. And like I said, I decided to go with the ornamental shape, and there's just no way around it. You're going to have to look into that. So I also have the holes for the mover and shapers. I fought these at first, but I really like the idea that you're going to cut a hole consistently over and over, because I have a crocodile. So I didn't feel like I needed those, but I find those to be a really useful tool. And we're going to put this whole thing through the Vagabond without any problem. Our other machines too would do the same thing. And that's cutting out all those extra steps. So you're only going to have to run it through 5 times, and everything's going to work out with your book. So what I'm going to do at this point is cover the rest of the pages, cut them out, and then I will be back. I'm probably going to stretch this out over a few days, and I'm going to show you some of my thinking with decorating. I'm going to show you how I add in some journaling spots. I like to add things into my book, so I'll show you some of those different applications as well as how I do the covers. And so we'll go through that together in my next few videos until we have the finished book. So at this point, all you really need is your paper of choice. If you're using a die, the die, and you could obviously just leave this just like this. Be a little more careful with your edges. And that is where we're at this point. So go ahead and catch up with me, and I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.